When I first started out as a geomancer, I had quite a lot of difficulty describing what I do and getting people to understand what it was and how it could benefit them. So, geomancy is not a thing that a lot of people are familiar with. So, geomancy literally means divining the earth. It's a way of looking at the energy patterning of a place and making sure it's a place where we can thrive within. So that might be a home, it might be a domestic property, it might be a commercial property, it might be a farm, it might be a retreat center, but it's about looking at the energy of place. But it's much more than that. It's about working within this scale of energies. So every place has what I call an energetic blueprint. In fact, everything has an energetic blueprint. So if you think of an energetic blueprint, it's a bit like having an architect's plan. So I wouldn't build a house without an architect's plan because I'm not going to just start laying bricks down and hope for the best. You need to have a plan. You need to know where is the boundary of this property? Where are the doors so I can have that relationship with the outside world, where I can have those relationships within that space? Where are the windows so I'm going to see the world? Similarly, if I was going to make a dress, I wouldn't just buy material and start cutting it up and hope I come out with a dress. I need a dress pattern that I pin onto the material, I cut out the pieces, I sew it together, and hey presto, I have a dress. So an energy blueprint holds the pattern, it's a pattern really that holds the shape or form of the thing that we're trying to create or build or bring into being. So everything has an energy pattern. So there is an energy pattern out there in the ether for everything from the flower to your business, from absolutely everything. So let's look at the energy blueprint of a flower. The energy blueprint of a flower holds the shape and form for what that flower is going to become. And it almost keeps everything else out that isn't that particular flower. And as that flower grows, it conforms to this energy blueprint. It conforms to its leaves, hold the geometry that the leaves take. Its flower conforms to the geometry that flower will be. And then that flower, it has almost an energetic blueprint and an energetic boundary around it. And that energy blueprint naturally expresses everything that flower has to offer. So it says, here I am this flower. I have this wonderful nectar for the insects. Look at the colors, look at the vibrancy. And in doing so, naturally expressing everything it has to offer, it naturally attracts everything that it needs. So the bees come to it and say, look at all that lovely nectar. And then they take the pollen to the next flower. And we have this symbiotic relationship between emitting what we naturally have to offer and attracting what we naturally need. It is a cycle. So you have an energetic blueprint. Your home has an energetic blueprint. If you have a business, it has an energetic blueprint. And working to that blueprint, understanding what that blueprint is, means that we have a much better chance of bringing our creations to life, because everything we create has an energetic pattern. Humans are incredibly powerful pattern creators. If you start a business, it has an energetic pattern. If you start, any creative process, and as a society, we do this as a whole. There's an energetic pattern for justice. There's an energetic pattern for commerce. There's an energetic pattern for all the things that humans create. And those energetic patterns are held by a spirit, a conscious entity, because everything comes out of energy, and energy is consciousness. So when we create something, it has its own consciousness. It may come from us, but it's a separate entity to ourselves. It has its own purpose and its own life cycle. So I have an idea for a home, and I draw a home out and I go and build it. It's not me, it's a separate entity to me. And it has its own purpose as a home that's there to provide for me, and I want the things in it, but that's not my entirety, and it's not my life is not it. And if I have an idea for a business, then that business is born from my values, but it's not me. It is its own entity. It has its own life cycle. It has its own needs. It's bigger than me, but it is my peer and partner. So when we work with energetic blueprints, we're able to create in alignment with what that thing actually wants to become. And what it wants to become is the perfect version of itself. So a home wants to be the perfect home. Your business, you envisioned it being successful. You never envisaged it being a failure. So working with energetic blueprint enables us, when we take steps to bring this thing into being, to do so in alignment with its pattern, and that makes things more successful. So as a geomancer, in many respects, we're often called in to really find out why things aren't working. So, and we do this through a 3-step process. So we, first of all, well, it's probably 4 steps. We assess the quality of the energy. We look at the relationship between people and their homes or people and their business. What is the quality of the relationship? What is the actual energy in this environment, right? So is the energy in this home, earth energy, supportive, or is the energy not supportive? And we will look at in homes, domestic properties, and we'll also look in commercial properties, because the earth energy is quite important. You need earth energy that's going to support people to be, productive, healthy, focused, if that's what is required in that area. So we look at really the energy pattern, and we heal anything that needs healing, because there might be past memories in your home. Everywhere has a place memory, the same as I have a memory. I have my lifetime memory, and your home has its lifetime memories. And if it's an old home, there's a lot of memories in there. And likewise, there's the business also has, its memories, or its, if it's an old, let's say an old retreat center, a lot of people have come to those doors. A lot of people have had emotional outbursts, or think, oh God, thank God I'm here to escape everywhere. And then there's your relationship with it as well. So we heal what needs healing. We look at the energy pattern, and we want to make sure that the pattern for its current use, because things change over time, the pattern for its current use is contemporary and appropriate. So if I live in a home that was once something else in terms of its building function, then that building is still running to that pattern. It's not running to the pattern that says this is now a home. It might be running to a pattern of a previous use. So we want to repattern that energy. We do that by talking to the spirit of place to say this place is no longer a factory. It's all been converted into residential property, so it's now a residential place. And likewise, we would look at a business and say, is this business ascribing to its pattern? What does it want to do? What was it designed to do? Now, it might be a new business, and then that's about you understanding the pattern, so that you can usher in the right actions. So we heal a place, we look at the energy patterning, and we repattern it to make sure, if necessary, to make sure it is contemporary and appropriate. And part of that is looking at its energetic boundaries. So an energetic boundary is this dynamic interface between your internal and external reality. So in a home, its energetic boundary is your property boundaries. It's who do you allow in? What are your relationships like with people outside of the home? In terms of a commercial property, its energetic boundary is the parameters of the offices, not just the physical premises, but it's the offers and services that you'll also offer. And what are those relationships like with the outside world, with your clients, with your customers, with your team, even with the landscape, with the offers and services themselves? There's all these dynamic relationships. So these relationships, this interface is really important. That's the energetic boundary. Is your energetic boundary contemporary and appropriate? And is it a place where these dynamic relationships, it's a dynamic interface where these relationships with whatever you come into contact with need to be managed? And then finally, we enhance energy. So in the home, we would look at using geomantic techniques of healing earth energy, maybe using some geomantic structures, putting things in place so the electromagnetic energy is charged and everyone's healthy and well. We may also have to do that in businesses, but we also work with the spirit of the business to ensure that what needs to be done by the people who live and work there is being done in terms of how they're managing it. So geomancy works on a whole spectrum of energies, from the physical to the metaphysical, and it works to heal, repattern, and enhance. So whatever that creation is, it can live out its full purpose in that energetic patterning. So that's what geomancy is all about.